Hey everyone, this is episode 161 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is the mileage tracker, OSG. How's it going, sir?
What's up, bro? What's up, man? One more trip to Houston planned this weekend, coming for the dash and try to catch the end of the watch party for the Dynamo game. But coming to an end, man. Coming to an end, as this is Noodle Time. So you know how we all feel right now. But what's going on with you, bro?
Oh, sir. Busy week at work. A lot of things going on, and of course, you mentioned already. Today is the last weekend of a home game for the Dash. It's gonna be interesting to say the least because of the playoff implications and all that, which we discussed in the last Noodle Time. Well, Dash Dispatch, and also still no Mark. Currently on vacation still, but he should be back over the next few weeks. And congrats, Mark, celebrating his anniversary throughout the month, which is great. And man, it's gonna be us two with plenty to talk about. Obviously,
for sure.
A Dynamo coming out of a bye week, but we still have plenty to talk about. Of course, decision day in MLS is coming up this weekend, and plenty of decisions for the Dynamo to make as well past the last game of the season this Saturday at Sporting KC, which we're going to be talking about towards the end of the episode. But we're going to start focusing on players. We did discuss this briefly in the last episode, but in tonight's little time, we have to talk about the 21 player contracts expiring this offseason. So past tomorrow, past this weekend actually, Houston have to make some decisions.
Contracts are up December 31st, so don't expect a bunch of those option ones and all those declined ones. You know, they still have till December 31st before they're actually gone. But
And yeah, it was going to be still December 31st by technicality, but we kind of know who the players are going to be leaving. We kind of have an idea of the players are going to be sticking around, but at the end of the day, this is Pat Onsted's and Ashley Monson's team. They're going to be making the decisions. I don't know how far they've worked that out with the players, but they're probably just waiting towards the end of the season so they can start communicating their choices. So
yeah, so a lot of this is just going to be trying to us just figure out what we expect and what we're anticipating from the coaching staff and the front office with some of these players, man. It's don't know what 21 players, 21 contracts, a lot of those with options. So a lot to dive, man, just a lot on the table to look at. So man, 21 players is crazy. And I guess we're going to go through them all, man. Yeah, me and Chris can't compare, man, mileage. You know, I know that man be working ass off too, bro. Yeah. Getting back and forth, like looking forward to the break sometimes.
No, yeah. Shout out to Christian, shout out to Bio City, and shout out to all the creators, man. That they've been working, especially this season. It's been pretty difficult to analyze the team and just get to talking points, but yeah, man. With that out of the way, let's get into it, man. 21 player contracts, 21 decisions to make, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with the senior roster. And pretty much the players that are not on the supplemental roster, but they're still technically on the first team. So the first one I did submit, I did have a list of the senior roster in alphabetical order, and then we'll get the supplemental roster. And the first one being Andrew Tarabell. Obviously, he's being out of the season with the season-ending injury, unfortunately, and his contract is due in 2025. And unfortunately, this is a player that we see him let go. We do have plenty of goalkeepers, not just Jonathan Bond, but also a Pedro Cruz waiting on the wings for those. And I feel like this is going to be one of the choices that Houston have to make, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because Andrew Charwell is injured, and it was unfortunate that his season turned out to be like that. OSG, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the guy was going to be our starter this year at the start. It's the last of his contract. James Bond came in. You have Cruz, Pedro Cruz at Dose, getting accolades right now, as announced today. He's going to be potential best 11 for Dose, and then best goalkeeper for not for Dose for Next Pro, and best goalkeeper for Next Pro. So potential sitting there at Dose. You still have Blake Gillingham too. So there's three right there that don't need to go anywhere. So Andrew Tarbo contract's out. See you later. Sorry, brother. Hope you're healthy, and I would be surprised to see you back on this roster.
And goalie awards champion for 2025. If that is anything, but there's only one MLS goalie awards champion, and that's gonna be Pedro Cruz, man. So I look forward to see Pedro Cruz develop. I've seen him in so many times on those that he deserves a shout out, and I hope he gets the opportunity for the first team next year because he deserves it. So we'll see how that goes, and I hope Andrew Charbel is recovering well, and luck to the future that is ahead of him after the season.
20 more. Let's go.
Yeah. And Jeff singing in the chat the 21 contracts. But I love it. But yeah, that's another Tarabel. The next player is gonna be Artur. His career contract ends after this season, but he has options through 2027. So I feel like Artur is gonna be one of the players is gonna be retained heading into next year. Obviously, he is one of the very few veteran presences left on the team. He's been around with the team already for the past few seasons, and I feel like he could be one of those players that the team could build out of, or just be that presence in the locker room to obviously not being that vocal type of player, but with his experience, I feel like he could just be coming off the bench and be a useful piece. But
he's the captain. He's still the starter. He's still Ben's man. We'll still expect him to be that guy to be in the starting lineup next season. Coming and they'll get his option, and unless he wants to go leave somewhere, but doubt that. So 2 options, 2 years left. He ain't going nowhere. That's the captain. He'll be back, and he's one of Ben's besties, so I ain't worried about that. There could be a new captain next year, but I doubt that right now. Just not as far as he ain't going nowhere. Just the armband could go to someone else, but Arthur's staying. He ain't going nowhere. That's an easy one for me.
Yeah, and obviously, I'd say his presence is felt by players, and obviously his leadership style might be a little bit different to what we were accustomed to, especially when Hector Herrera was here. And it was unfortunate because Artur did not have a stellar season this year. It definitely felt like he regressed a lot, but you could say that to a lot of players this year. Of course, a lot of players out of injuries, new players that came in that were not acclimated on time, and I feel like Artur was just in a bad situation overall, as well as with a ton of players on this team.
He didn't have a bad season. He was in a bad situation, so it'll get better with the defensive injuries not being there. So things will improve, and Arthur was nothing spectacular. He does the job exactly what we need. So he is getting older, but that'll be on the front office to make sure Brooklyn Reigns comes in, and then somebody else. You still got Urso too. We still got Urso to talk about as well. So he's staying.
And he's staying for sure. And also, you mentioned Ben's besties. The next bestie is up on the chopping block, and that's Amin Bassi.
Now look, this guy,
his contract. Yeah,
he obviously has two option years left in his, but he like you mentioned, he is one of Ben's besties. But man, towards the end of the season, he wasn't being used that much. He was coming off the bench, so I would be more surprised to see him go than to stay. I'm kind of with the fan base where they're just kind of over Bossy right now, and they'll be okay with him going. But I would be surprised if he did go, and the team will retain his contract.
I feel like that's the case, and I say that because Amin Bassi, he also did not have a stellar season, and did not contribute as much as I hoped for. He did get a new contract by the start of the year, and I feel like he was going to use that as kind of just like to improve. But like we just mentioned before, this team did not progress in many aspects, and I feel like that hindered his ability to contribute. But
I mean, Jeff said it
obviously, he
right.
had
He's not bringing
yeah,
enough, and he's a nice guy. So what? He's a nice guy. He's got to bring it on the field, and he's got to produce. And it can't just be penalty kicks. And you're trying to make it to the top 10
yeah,
in Dynamo history and scoring goals. So what a name to have up there. That's that doesn't even sound right. But Bossy's probably gonna be staying for another year, y'all.
yeah. I feel like he's gonna be retained for this upcoming season, and who knows, maybe he could just come off the bench this time. But it really depends on the approach that the front office takes this offseason with the ton of players. I feel like there's a reset coming up because we have a ton of players with decisions coming up and potentially, hopefully, signings this offseason.
Right.
So that remains to be seen. So that was Bassi, another player that has his contract up with an option for 2026. It's going to be Daniel Steres. Daniel Steres, man, he did not see a ton of games. I don't know if it was like a Ben's decision or because he wasn't just good enough on Ben's size, but I was disappointed that I didn't get to see him play a lot. I feel like this year in particular was going to be one of those years that he was going to be playing more because of a ton of defensive absences. But what are your thoughts on him?
He said he was dealing with injuries a lot, and I think he was dealing with an injury at
Yeah,
the end of the season, and that's definitely why you didn't see him at the end of the season. So I don't know if he's one that fits in with the team. We can definitely go and improve our roster spot right there with somebody else, somebody younger, somebody that might be around a lot longer. But if I think this is more kind of up to him. Does he want to play another year? And does he want to play here? Does he want to go back to California and play a season somewhere and then retire, or is he even close to done? I don't know. I don't see him sticking around with the team. That roster spot comes open.
yeah. I feel like if they're gonna take this opportunity to move on from him because it's been so long that he's been away from the team, that I feel like it could take another opportunity elsewhere. I think that's possible. So if he leaves, then I kind of feel sad about it because he has been such an insane player for us for the past couple seasons,
I'm gonna be Pat. You're gonna
and
get
man,
more value out of a player coming in that you might utilize more than a player that you didn't use, even though the contract's low. So you bring in a player, get the value out of it,
right?
a new player. So sorry, Stairs, but you're injury prone and you're not useful right now. And you can't guarantee you'll be healthy. So sorry, but I'm not giving your option.
Yeah, well, like you said, and it goes to a lot of players on the list that have their contract expiring this offseason. It presents itself as a new opportunity to bring in players that could bring something else to the table. So if Sarah leaves, kind of sad, but at the same time, you understand why. As well as a ton of these players coming up. The next player with the contract expiring this offseason is Ethan Bartlow, but he does have an option for 2026. I mean,
I just
I
wait
feel
because
like yeah,
he's got the experience and he's been coming off the bench and you go through the season with all the injuries on in the back line and you're like, oh, when you might need to keep this guy just in case, but he's probably still pretty cheap. But I don't see him being picked up either. I see there being the back line's going to look a lot different than what it did to start this season. It's gonna look there'll be some guys we're familiar with, but yeah, it's gonna be some guys that you're not familiar with. That some new names on the lineup there. But I think Bartlow's gone as well. So that's two defenders now.
yeah. I feel like for me, it's gonna come down to the approach of the offseason if they want to upgrade in certain positions, and if Ethan Bartlow's okay with having a supplemental role in the team, because he did have a lot of opportunities to play this season, more so because
I'm
of
not
our
okay with him taking
injuries.
up a supplemental spot. I need that roster spot. So Bartlow, you're
Right.
gone. So I don't see you fitting in a role for us right now.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna move on from him. If our position is to upgrading several places this offseason, so I feel like he leaves. And the next player that it looks like it's an obvious go bye is Franco Escobar. His current contract expires at the end of the season, and I mean that kind of speaks for itself. He had a listed illness for the past 2 months in the availability report provided by MLS, but this illness is it's like
Well, we'll
a
see if
stay
he's
at
available for
homeitis.
the last game, huh? Right? And you said obvious. I'm not so sure it's obvious that he's out. I know you have friends and ties with the teams when you're a player, but he's still been coming to the stadium and watching the games, and you know we're in the tunnel doing mixed zone and press conference and all that. You see him leave with the guys, so he's there and he's still with the team. And I think he fits Ben's system. Is there a place for him? I think there is. I kind of talked with it with somebody today. You have Andrade, you have Dorsey, who we got to talk about too, and you have Escobar. I would be perfectly fine with those three. Escobar can play left and right, Dorsey right, Andrade can play left, Andrade can actually play right as well. So you have a good rotation right there where you're not using all three of them and burning them out. You can substitute them, rotate them, and you're going to be okay with whoever starts out of those three right there, technically.
And earlier in the season, Franco Escobar was a presence in the backline, man. Especially when we started having players go out with the injuries. Like he was the vice captain to an extent because he was extremely vocal to players that were constantly messing up left and right for good reason. We were sleeping out results, and I feel like he was going to be useful this year. But unfortunately, like past the halfway point, it was just like hit or miss or miss games altogether. But like you said, he's been going to games still, attending games, just being with teammates over the course of the year, and it sucks that it came to this. But I feel like he's one of the players that's going to be leaving this offseason.
Yeah, hey, let's throw him a contract though. Throw him a 1 year or whatever. Everybody's gonna say he
Yeah,
wants to go to Miami and wants to go to Miami, but I mean, I'm sure there's somewhere he can go where someone's going to offer him a contract. So I think this is more of a decision. What does Escobar want to do? Because I would bet Ben would say yes, keep him, give him a contract. But what's it going to cost? But so I'm kind of
right.
with you. I'm leaning towards he's not coming back, but I would be hopeful and not surprised if he does come back. To tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So that's 3 defenders if he's leaving.
Another defensive overhaul. We'll see about that. Speaking of defensive overhaul, the next player with the contract expiring this offseason is going to be Griffin Dorsey. He does have an option for 2026, and somebody brought up in the chat that Dorsey should play as a right midfielder.
In whose place? I mean, you're not changing the formation, so I mean, who you mentioned to move Dorsey up?
And it also depends on still the players that we are retaining, but at the same time, this has been also we're talking about. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be difficult to move him or like towards midfield. I feel like if he stays, he's gonna be staying as a defender, and I think this is one of those players that you have to bring back for next year. Not because he's a nice guy, but because he can actually provide at least off the bench still. Like this year, I feel like he's been more so inconsistent, and but still he's been moving up and down the flank and providing as much as possible. But what are your thoughts on him?
look, he's not a defender, right? That's why everybody say he should push back up. He should push back up. We had all these defensive troubles this season. When the team works and the team flows and Ben's process works, Dorsey looked great for 2 years, right? Those 2 seasons that we were going to the playoffs looked great in the exact same system that we're still playing this year. But we had some trouble defensively. So when our defense is under pressure, you're using a player that play defense more, and then he doesn't get to be his offensive threat. He doesn't get as much gas. His crossing was just horrible this season. He couldn't get a good cross off to save his damn life. So I think with a more comfortable back line, a more secure, more exclusive back line, Dorsey can do well. I think he is 95% staying, or at least
Yeah.
95% said the Dynamo will give him the contract. So I think he's staying. Not give him the contract, give him his option. I think he's staying.
I think so too. Well, in terms of the contract, I feel like that remains to be seen, but I feel like he will get probably a short term one for now. But I feel like he's one of the players that's going to be sticking around for
Yeah,
2026.
I don't think he's going to get an extension. Sorry, I misspoke a little bit. He's got the option left. I think we just give him the option and we
Yeah.
see what happens this year, and if he's still a part of the team or not. No extension. No, I don't even want to see an extension right now. I would like to just stick around because that's what we have, unless you have
Yeah.
planets in the book, which I don't think you do. So yeah, Griffin Dorsey is a yes. So the first defender we're keeping out of 4.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to pick up his option too. So uh, it's still going to be interesting to see how they approach the backline situation, especially with all the issues that we had this year and the defenders that we signed along the way. So we'll see about that. This is going to be an interesting player. The curious case of Nelson Quinones. Believe it or not, his contract expired this offseason, but he's have an option for 2026. I have nothing to say at this point
Decline
because
and give him a contracted dose is the only option that this man has.
No.
So we will decline that option. He will get a next pro contract, and he will play for Dose, and he will prove himself that he has returned from the injury and can continue to play soccer. And that's the only way he will work. And if he does well, and then boom, here comes Pat's summer signing that he will be mentioning and being vague about without mentioning names, and then during the summer, Quinones gets that first team contract back because he did so well. But yeah, so unless there is because we don't know about health and medical, that the Dynamo would know more. If he's ready to go back and he's cleared to play soccer, then I think they shut him down for the rest of the season. That's just smart. If he's cleared to play next season, then I don't see him. I mean, they could, because he's cheap. He was a U22, but I would like to get that spot back, but decline and then give him a Dose contract. But they'll probably keep the option. It'll still be a damn U22, but I like my option better. Decline and give him a Dose contract because nobody in their life is going to give him one because of his injury.
I feel like it was very smart of them to not play him this year, especially with the fact that how the season turned out. Imagine if he just came back on the field and worsened the situation in a season that nothing really mattered. And I'm kind of glad that they just saved him up to this point. And I do agree this is the smartest approach they could take right now because he has not approved that he deserves an extension with the first team, but he deserves to have a second shot at those.
It's the same thing we did with Achard. With Achard. Achard is the same thing. Like, we had him first team. He was getting play. He got injured at practice, and they put him on Dose for the next season. And then, he's off with the town now or whatever, and he's playing. But he didn't work out for the first team, so it didn't cost us anything, and it wasn't a risk. So that's my option. But we'll see what Houston does. Of course, I forget what. That's something we should have looked up, but the date where these teams have to declare the options of yes or no, there is a particular date, and I don't think it's December 31st. That's just when the contracts end. So I think there's a date for option declaration, and it's probably in December, of course, but we should know by Christmas of what holes we had to fill.
But let me see if I can look up the date, but
yeah,
I believe
I'd be interested with Nelson Quinones, what they do right there.
Yeah, because I only have the, and that is something that we're gonna be taking a look at. But usually, for teams that enter the offseason without playoffs, they usually have that up. I remember they usually just have it like a week or so, and when the offseason starts. So I'll see about that, but I'll look it up during the episode.
Yeah,
But
it could be late November, it could be early December. I'm pretty sure it's after the MLS Cup whenever everybody has the option to do their declarations. But whatever, we'll move on. Quinones for dose, decline and dose.
yeah, this one I feel like it could be one of the easier choices the Dynamo could make. That was the loan for Paulo Ortiz. His loan does expire at the end of the season, but he does have an option to buy. And in the games that I've seen him play, I don't think he deserves an extensive contract whatsoever because it's been so inconsistent. And every single time I want to make a case for him, he just made the situation worse. And I feel like this is one of the experiments that Dynamo tried to work out, but unfortunately it did not. So I don't think it deserves an extension or an option to buy. But what are your thoughts, OSG?
Yeah, I'm from the team perspective. I'm 50-50 on this guy because I don't know what they think of him and how much they like him. But yeah, I mean, it's like we were hoping Femi wouldn't play, and then it started becoming we're hoping Ortiz doesn't play. So I don't know what to do with Ortiz either. But it, man, because you're expecting Juan Carlos to be back there, and Cinco being back there possibly again. Who's going to be behind him? So yeah, can the man? Mikel was a roller coaster at first too, but Pablo Ortiz is no Mikel at the same time. Can he get it fit together this offseason? I don't know. So I'm kind of. It'd be nice if we moved on if we could find a good replacement for center back, but how look at the center backs that we brought in this entire season. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this one. You flip a coin and you tell me what they're going to do, and I'm okay with it. And that's going to be another
And
defender that's out the door if it's that way.
and you could even say that just to play devil's advocate and going back to the discussion that we were not in a good situation, I feel like that could have affected him too, and maybe the way they see the offseason or how they plan out their acquisition for the offseason, maybe they see a way for him to work out. But like I said, with all the games that I see him play, I don't feel confident in bringing him back. It could be a different story next year, but for me, I don't think it's worth it.
It would definitely be a role off the bench,
Yeah.
definitely. So Jordy, it's getting overhauled. What is this number 5 defender? Right? One. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. No, 4. This is number 4 defender out the door, and Griffin Dorsey's the only one staying of the 5 that have options so far. So yeah, expect a defensive overhaul so far, man. All right, Andres, let's keep going.
Yeah, like it's. I feel like that's one of the easiest choices I could make. Uh, be, just to see if we could just try our luck with somebody else that has more experience in MLS, maybe, or somebody else that they keep an eye on. The next player that we do have with the contract expiring this offseason is Sebastian Kowalczyk. He does have an option for 2026. Eh,
He's the same boat. He's the
eh,
same boat as Bossy, but I think
yeah.
Bossy's more in favor with Ben. So I would not be surprised if we don't bring him back. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if we do bring him back. It's kind of like I don't know, but I would like to get some improvement there. But just because, man, I don't know if I was so high on him before the season started, and he's just been such a disappointment. So I'm okay if we do not bring him back. I want that roster spot, and I want to be a better team next year. So if he can't hang and can't do it with Ben, let's get someone else.
Yeah. Uh, I feel like just having Kowalczyk, like coming off the bench, I still didn't feel like he was going to be the player that was going to change the game. And it's kind of like almost an identical profile to Vasi, and maybe we should have to go somewhere else. And if we pick up Vasi, I feel like it would kind of necessary to pick up Kovacic as well. So I feel like he goes this offseason.
I'd rather have Seba than Basi if you're going to keep one of the
Yeah.
two. But I know the team will keep Basi over Seba, so maybe it's just better that they both go.
Yeah. But best besties. We know how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
The next player that does have a contract expiring this offseason is Sergio Santos, but he does have an option for 2026. I talked about him in the last episode, but I feel like this is one of the players that they have to bring back for next year. I know that the only sample size we got was the game against San Diego, but I mean, you see him against San Diego in a game that we were desperate to lose. But Sergio Santos was just making the sprints that Ponce made, and he still got a goal. Like, he's very dangerous. He's very experimental nonetheless, and he knows the league. So if the Dynamo are smart about it, if they want experience coming off the bench, at least they have to bring him back for next year.
Absolutely. And like Jeff says, shows promise, shows a little bit of a spark, shows something. But so that'd be nice to give the option. And I think the option was probably, man, I don't know what the option was even there for when you get the small little showcase. It's maybe the small little showcase was for Sergio to say, hey, okay, cool, I like it here. Cool, yeah. You know what? I'll stay with y'all one more year. I feel good about it. So I think it's more as a Sergio choice than a Dynamo choice. I think it's there. I think he's there.
Yeah, and I feel like they have to give him an opportunity for next year, especially with trying to keep players with experience, and especially if the approach this year is to just bring go young, or just have players that are not really acclimated to the league, especially attackers that are acclimated to the league that we need to stick around. Or so I think he stays, and I hope he stays. And just moving on to the supplemental roster, we do have a ton of players in the supplemental roster with contract expiring this offseason. The first one being Steven Anor. He does have options for 2026 and 2027, but I feel like he's going to be moving on to those. Kind of the same situation as Quinones, but let's see your thoughts.
I mean, well, he's been playing. I don't think he's been playing any well. And he is Generation Adidas, so he's really cheap. Really, really cheap.
Yeah.
So we still have the two options to keep it that cheap. So, but like I say, he's on loan, so we could put him on loan again because he's not going to have a spot on the first team. Does he want to come back and play for Dose? There is a spot for him there if he wants it because our Dose is 18 years old, maybe just barely. So I don't know. This one, to me, this one doesn't matter what's going to happen to him. There's no room for him on the first team. He ain't going to see a moment as long as Ben's here.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna get more opportunities with those than the first team. So I think it's gone. Your MVP over right here, Femia Wodesu, contract expiring this offseason, but he has options for 2026 and 2027.
He came through the system through us or whatever, through Dose, and Ben likes him, and you see he still gets to play, so he ain't going nowhere. He's going to be a guy on the bench. I think, sorry, man, he's a guy in between Next Pro and MLS. He belongs at USL, and that's probably as high as he's going to get. He reminds me of a guy that had a lot of talent. God, who was the guy that was our center back for a minute and then went west to I don't remember, for Dose for a whole minute for like 3 years. Was our center back the entire time for Dose. God, I can't remember his name, but anyways, I feel like it's that guy. But he's just USL, man. He's not going to be anything more, and he could get his shit together as he gets older and learns because he does take in the knowledge. But right now, man, no, bro. But they got two options for him, so he'll be back. Yeah, G Money says he's staying. I agree.
I feel like they stick around with it to give another shot. Just no new contract. They're just gonna stick with the options.
And we're getting rid of all those other defenders, so they're one that they're they can work with, and he's cheap, so he's the one that stays.
Yeah, and another young player that they brought on this past offseason, Eric Dueñas. He is listed as a homegrown player with a contract expiring this offseason, but he does have options throughout 2028. So I feel like they're gonna.
This is gonna be on him, totally on him. I think we keep him. He's cheap. They used him a couple times this year. He's still growing. He's 20 years old.
Yeah.
So I think this one's up to him to decline the option or keep the option. And I think the Dynamo keep him. And I don't know what we could do with him right now. There might be a bench spot for him, or does he want to start the season with Dose? But I doubt he does. So I think this is his option.
I feel the same, honestly. I say that because he definitely made appearances this season, especially at the start of the year. But nothing that tells me like well to stick with him for the future. But things can change. He's still very young. He could show promise, and he still have plenty of options left in his contract. But yeah, but still plenty of proof, especially for next year. If he sticks with those for the most part, we'll see about that. But I feel like this is probably his the best course of action if he wants to play more often.
We signed him for a reason.
Yeah, project.
Yeah,
so yeah,
he's not going nowhere. It's what does he want to do? I think.
Yeah, more so about that. And the next player coming up with also another contract expiring this offseason is Blake Gillingham. He does have options through 2028 as well, and I feel like he stays as the third string keeper, and I feel like that's an easy choice
for us. Is that what he wants to do? Did you just say third string? Does Pedro Cruz jump up automatically and become the second string keeper? So I don't know. I think, man, that's crazy. So does Blake want to stay? I think it's obvious we keep him because Tarbell's gone unless Tarbell's staying. But yeah, keep Blake on our end. But what does Blake want to do? 3 years still, too. So you meant stay, bro. Stay. You never know, man. You never know. You saw what this season brought us.
Yeah, like it still really depends on players, kind of like what we just talked about, Eric Dueñas. So if they want to stick around, it's really up to them. But at the end of the day, there could be better opportunities elsewhere, and they have to compete against Jonathan Bond for the first string, and I feel like it's gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, I say against Pedro Cruz, but that's okay. Maybe Pedro will be our starting keeper soon enough, but yeah, we move.
Yeah. Our next player, Michael Holiday. He does have a contract with the first team through 2025 with options for 2026 and 2027. Yeah.
He's homegrown.
I don't see him in the first team.
He's valuable, but we don't use him, so he's invaluable, so bye.
No.
I don't think he's not staying. So no, move on. Sorry, Holiday. You should have left with Lodero. Because you came with him.
Yeah. That Lodero deal, man. I keep thinking about it, but it still pisses me off.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, just underutilized, like really wasted opportunity for everything. Just a cherry on top for 2025 for the Houston Dynamo. Our next player, Damian Lowe, does have an option for 2026 and 2027 with his current contract expiring this offseason. Going back to what we talked about experience, but still a player that we have not seen him play this year. I don't know what the approach is going to be with the team, but what are your thoughts, Oluchi?
I think this is going to be the player decision again instead of the team. I think the team's going to say, yes, hey, bro, do you want to stay? And it's going to be up to him. And he could have been told, like, hey, bro, you're coming in. You're not going to play this season towards the end of the season unless it's an emergency or whatever. So don't know the situation there. But I think it's a player decision. Dynamo will offer his option. And if he accepts, then Boom, he didn't play. He played like for 7 minutes, I think, one time or whatever, or didn't even get in. I don't even remember either, but he's playing more for Jamaica than he is for the Dynamo. So uh, he's somebody. All these defenders are gone, so he's somebody that you can count on the bench and somebody that can come in when somebody's getting hurt. So y'all need to see Damian Lowe, but we don't get that opportunity. But I think we do keep him
Yeah,
because we're going to be in need to hold people onto the roster.
and experience more than anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel like he stays,
And he's still playing with
and
Jamaica, starting with Jamaica. So
yeah,
good.
it will yeah it will be smart to bring him back. Obviously, with experience more than anything, and com- like his players push the back line to improve and be better and compete for that spot for next year. This one, I feel like this is the easiest decision that you could make as a team that wants to keep a young, talented players that see team minutes with the national team, and his name is Brooklyn Reigns. Believe it or not, his current contract expires this offseason, but it does have an option for 2026. So
Easy one.
they're gonna pick him up easily, and they better give him a new contract immediately because like he's gonna go to Europe uh within the next 2 years easily, and that I'm willing to take advantage of this opportunity right now to give him a new contract. Pay him. I don't care. Pay,
Well,
pay him now. Pay him now.
that'll be the first thing they do when the season ends. Is they have a contract sitting there in an envelope ready to hand to his agent and be like, "Here's your contract. You stick around for a while. There will be some offers coming in pretty soon, possibly even right after we hand you this contract. Some offers
Yeah,
might come in for you to go somewhere else. So I would love for you to stick here. So Reigns is sticking here. He's an obvious keep. He ain't going nowhere until he's sold. So he does have the option. I don't think the option is going to matter. The option is going to get declined and thrown out the door, and then there's going to be a contract handed to him. He's going to sign that contract. It'll be a 3 or 4 year contract, and then he's
yeah.
with us for 4 years. He is a part of our future until someone comes throwing a cash bag at us from overseas. So, yeah, he gets his money, bro. He deserves it, and he will get it. And he's going to showcase off in the World Cup, the U20 World Cup. And like I said, people are going to come after him, possibly even before the start of next season. But he's one of those players that we did talk about last week, or to somebody else, that there's 4 players that are that could get sold within the next year and make good money. Good money, man.
Give him his money, like Giuseppe said.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and yeah. With that, people in the chat asking about X and Arsu.
He's got a contract for a few more years, so he's
Yeah,
not going nowhere. He's still here,
yeah.
so he'll be a dose guy. So we'll see if he can come back off his injury and light it up.
Yeah, X and Arsu does have a contract through 2026, so his option is not going to be up until next year. But we'll definitely be talking about him, especially if he's able to recover from his injury and see him play. And I feel like if he comes out next year, he's going to be appearing with those first and obviously recover. But
He'll be one to
we'll
watch. He's got to
talk.
show more when next to Quinones, but that will be, and Janor. That could be Stephen Honor. That could be a nice top line for Dose to start off the season next season. But yeah,
Yep.
got to move on.
Yeah, and wish Arsu well with his recovery and hope to see him play soon. And yep, Gabe Seagal.
Bye. Sorry, you're done. You're gone. You're out. That's easy.
Yeah.
You don't even have an option. Your contract is up. Move on and good luck with you. Thank you. I need a better backup forward to give hand Ponce his toilet paper when he comes off the field. So yeah, bye, Gabe.
Look, man.
Don't
Look, man.
Okay.
Look, man.
Go ahead.
He scored a brace against New York City FC on the road. A brace, man.
6 months
Not just
ago.
kidding. Yeah, it felt like 5 years ago now. But yeah, if you're bringing in Sergio Santos, you already have Ponce over there, and if you want to give a shot to somebody else from those, I feel like letting go of Gabe Seagal is the smartest thing you can do. So I feel like he's gone.
Bye. I got nothing else to say with it. Sorry, Gabe. Gotta go, kiddo. I'd be surprised if you're still here. Need that roster spot. Yeah.
Next player,
like I said 6 months ago.
Yeah, that Hattie, man, gotta love it.
All right, yeah.
But the next player,
Okay.
with option through 2026, Junior Urso.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably one of the smartest options you can keep, with more so experience in MLS than anything, and I feel like he stays.
Yeah, that's an easy one, man. Brooklyn's still going to be playing with his national team, Arthur, and you saw what kind of substitute he could be in when he was filling the role and starting. So that's an easy one, Junior. So you're staying, you're with us for another year, and then we can see where you're at after that. So yes, and yes.
Yeah, I thought so too. The games that I've seen him play, the opportunities that he was given, and granted, a team that was very inconsistent, he still showed out in most of the games that he made an appearance at, and I feel like he deserves another opportunity for next year. So hope he sticks around, and just be that experience that we need still. And the last player with a contract expiring this offseason is going to be Kieran Sargent. Of course, he's on loan, but he does have 2 more years as options through 2027.
He played 27 games for Lexington. We don't know how well he played. According to FootMob, he had a decent year, 6.9 something or whatever. So it was a good rating, if you call it to me. But it was for USL, it was for Lexington. I don't see how well Lexington did. So the team is looking at Kieran. I don't. He's obviously not a spot for the team this coming up season. So it would be maybe give the option and loan him back out again, or you bring him back to Dose and you let him play for friggin' Dose so the team can be a little bit older, man. Yeah, I mean, it's another loan if you're going to keep him and you think you can, and then you could think he'd be a part. But otherwise, I say decline, and just let him go because he doesn't have a spot on the first team, and I don't think he has a spot in the future. But he is, left back with left foot and goes forward, but he's a kid. They will.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
that's what preseason's for. They will. He'll be back. G Money. Sorry, I'm talking to G Money. Sorry.
No, yeah, like I feel like more so it could be a Dose situation all over, because if they're gonna, I don't think it's smart to keep him on the roster, on the first team roster, if he was gonna be alone somewhere else. But it's more so gonna depend on kind of like what you said for other players, his decision and what he wants to do in the future. If he wants to stick with in USL Championship, which again, a ton of players that move on from MLS Next Pro to USL Championship, it could be something good. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, he's a cut, but he's a homegrown player too, so he's cheap, so he doesn't cost much to keep. Yeah, but he's a cut.
Yeah, I'm more so because of roster instances more than anything. But if you keep him in those, if they're able to do that, I'll be happy. But yeah, man, those were the 21 players.
All right, so look at that. Look at that. With those players that are gone and the players that we think are staying, it's the defense that is getting revamped and rehauled, and is the biggest eye staker for the offseason to make sure you fix that back line. Fix that back line. Everybody's asking for a DP10 or asking for that. We don't know what we're asking for, really. You have Ponce up top. You have a Nolly on the left. You're going to have McGlynn somewhere. You have Rains and Arthur. You're still going to have Linger centrally. You still have McGlynn right. You'll still have Dorsey, Andrade, Eric, Carlos, Bond. So, man, it's so not good. That's our starting lineup right now. So we need to find some players to bring in and install in that starting lineup, and got to make sure that defense is strong and a little bit better. Because right now, that's your back four is Carlos, Eric, Dorsey, and Andrade, if you go by our yeses today with keeping Dorsey. So, same back line. Are y'all okay with Carlos and Eric being back there? What did we say? Who did we say was going to be a backup back there? We still got Femi. So, yeah, we got to go out and get some defenders, man, back there. Big time. Jeff says another winger, just to back up to back up a Nolly, obviously, because Seba and Bossi are going to be gone, and they're not really wingers anyways. But somebody to back up a Nolly, that you would like to think that could be Arzu, that could be Quinones, but we have to wait, and we have to wait, to find out who that could be. So we do need to bring in somebody else right there, and a game-changing forward. But that's what Ponce was supposed to do. So we can fix our back line. That'll allow us to play our offense a little bit better, and then maybe we can be more creative and get Ponce the ball a little bit more. But Ben has to change the system if you want a more game-changing forward, or you have to sell Ponce if you want a more game-changing forward, then bring somebody else in. But that's what we're looking at, man. What do you think, Andres?
I do agree. I feel like the defensive revamp is coming up. We're gonna be seeing a lot of movement in the back line and up top. Everybody thinks that Linger's gonna get bought out from the DP spot so they can bring us a second DP.
That's an easy one
because Linger. That's an easy one. Linger is definitely not a designated player, and I feel like they could be utilizing that spot into somewhere else that can actually.
But they did come out and tell us that he's a DP for salary reasons, and which is better for the Dynamo. So they didn't have a DP to bring in, so he's just occupying the spot in the meantime. Once they find somebody, boom, he's going to be bought down, and then boom, the DP spot is open, and you see somebody else ready to come in. So that's the good news. So Linger, y'all can take it easy on Linger. He's going to have to perform, though, but he's not a DP value level for us to judge him anymore. He's being bought down, y'all.
Definitely. Is getting bought down. It's the question is more so the DP that they're gonna bring in. But then again, we've been praying for it, asking for it every single time, especially this year. It's gonna be somebody that is not afraid to run at defenses, It's gotta be that type of player. And somebody that's able to fit Benel's system, which is pretty difficult. Yeah. It's a difficult ask, especially for the scouting department. But yeah, we're gonna definitely be talking about these decisions and more whenever they post those. And I believe our deadline is gonna be November 26th. It's still gonna be a long ways ahead, probably like way over a month. But I feel like I said, within the first week of the offseason or second week, I feel like they're going to list all those options and options decline, all that.
Good. And real quick, Andres, Jeff is talking about all the usage of the pitch at Shell Energy Stadium. Just something I noticed from the football game yesterday where all the football players do stand on the sideline. It's a lot of footwear, right? They did tarp the field. So the sideline was covered and protected. It was only the field where they were playing football that was getting the usage and getting a lot of usage. But I think our ground crew is really good. They know how to replace and they know how to pull up, and that may not be the same grass that was there 2 days ago. Whenever you show up to Shell for the game on Saturdays, so yeah, I think we're fine and we can do it. And it looked good that they were making the players didn't get to just walk freely. The grass was covered up.
Yeah, of course, that was time Houston State still playing their games temporarily, but then again, we do have, like you said, the Houston Gamblers coming up next year.
612 people showed up to that game.
Who was the genius that scheduled that on a Wednesday night? I want to know what's up, but
like G Money said, the grounds crew is world grass.
World grass.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. I love that. But yeah, then we're 53 minutes already.
Yeah, we got to move. Sorry, guys. Sorry. 21 players. We knew we were going to take a minute, right?
I mean, it's 21 players, so yeah, I feel like it was going to take a long time, but we do have a few more things to talk about, particularly this international break that just ended. And of course, the main player, Brooklyn Reigns, we just talked about him. 4 out of 5 starts in the Under-20 World Cup for the U.S. Unfortunately, they got knocked out by Morocco. But man, Morocco is going to the final against Argentina. They're at a different level right now, but it was going to be a difficult team to beat for the U.S. But Brooklyn Reigns, man, did get the start in the knockout phase of the Under-20 World Cup. You love to see it. He played every single minute of it, and man, he's a menace. Yeah. He's a menace if you were to watch the games.
He got a lot of attention. Yes, the nice goal from him. I don't know what he was doing so far forward that he was led the ball like we need him there instead of Ponce, right? But Brooklyn did a great job. Got a lot of attention. His name was brought up a lot of times. You know, he made like some people's U22 lists of top players around the league. So yeah, bro, there's a lot of hope for us there. That's why we said there's a brand new contract coming his way. It's probably already in his hands. It's just not announced yet. And that kid is ours, and he's going to be our staple next to Arthur next season and behind McGlynn. So y'all get ready for it. That's what we're expecting. And the French League can stay away. Only better leagues can come after Brooklyn Reigns.
Yeah, he's gonna have plenty of deals, but of course, he probably signed the contract already, but they're gonna announce it later. But yeah, it's only a matter of time until that's announced and he makes a move over the next couple of years. So
JJ Watt
booking Reigns, man.
JJ Watt from Burnley is going to call.
Yeah. Yeah. We do also have 3 players that were on international duty for Dynamo. Of course, one of them being Damian Lowe. He did not feature a single minute for Jamaica in this international break for World Cup qualifying against Curacao or Bermuda. And Andres Naranjo, he did play 14 minutes back on October 9th against Croatia towards the second half. He did not play against the Faroe Islands. They lost 2-1 to the Faroe Islands. I was very surprised by that, but then again, he did not play, so not his fault.
I think that was a special win for the Faroe Islands too. So
yeah, that's insane. I mean, good for Faroe Islands. I was surprised by that result. And Sebastian Rodriguez, I was not able to find information about him, but I do know that the Mexican under-18s did play 3 games in France, and I don't know if he played or not. That's the thing that I was trying to look out for, but I'm sure he did. And Sebastian Rodriguez is one of those players that I need to keep an eye on. Always a player that gets plenty of time, plenty of opportunities for those, and I hope he keeps on growing.
Coachella just got announced, so it looks like Dynamo will probably go to Arizona next year, maybe to somewhere in Florida next year for the preseason trip. The Dash are going to Coachella, but Sebastian Rodriguez is a player that'll be with the first team. He has a first team contract. So he'll be training with the first team on the preseason and playing with them and getting actual minutes and getting an eye out. So, man, it'd be nice if he's a player that could come up and be, the guy when Brooklyn Reigns comes off the field, Sebastian Rodriguez goes on the field, something like that. You still have an Urso, of course, too, but it's so tough because you like the kid so much and he's such a baller and he's just 18, but can he stick around another year at Dose? Hope so. But what's the team going to do with him? That kid's got a future.
Yeah. What the team wants, what he wants, of course, is pretty difficult. And as long as they give me those playing opportunities, I'll be fine. But then again, it's more so his ultimately his decision, and if he wants to stick around, and I hope he does. So, but yeah, he's gonna have plenty of opportunities in the preseason, and I hope he kills it.
The bonus
if we
is
see him in the first team, much better.
He is native to Houston. He does live in Houston, so that's the bonus to him. So it's hard for sometimes a player to leave, but that point's going to come at one point where somebody's going to come calling, especially when you're playing for the U18 Mexican national team. Mexican teams are seeing you down there and seeing you play, and their scouts seeing you. So, a Mexican team may come calling before we get the chance to put you on the first team. So I don't know, man. We'll keep the kid as long as we can, as long as we're able to use him and benefit for him. So I hope we can do something with him. Hope he gets an opportunity, but we'll see. He's young.
Yep. And I look forward to see him play, hopefully in the first team at some point. I know it's difficult, but man, I hope he gets plenty of opportunities and he balls out. We do have news from this week from the Dynamo, and they announced a new Chief Revenue Officer, Nicolò, Zini, former FC Barcelona and Inter Miami executive. Of course, like the title says it's going to be the revenue officer in charge of the revenue for the club, not just the Dynamo, but also Dash and other opportunities. And Of course, this is in time for the World Cup next year. So I'm guessing he's going to be in charge of a lot of activations and initiatives to get people into the stadium for both Dynamo and Dash. But we finally got the John Walker replacement a few years later. But OSG, what are your thoughts?
Man, do we have a marketer now? Do we actually have one to where you're gonna dynamo this and dynamo that when you're going across the city? You're gonna hear him more on the radio. It's not gonna just be Glenn Davis anymore. I'm kind of I want to see it, man. But I'm excited
Yeah.
because this guy did it and he did it again, and he's in a position, very high position, to do things that are expected of him in this next year. So yeah, I'm excited. Finally, somebody that's marketing, somebody that looks like he knows what he's doing. So let's see it. Let's see the transition and the translation, because you know us, and y'all that are listening right now on the show, we're there. We're foot's on the ground, so we see every little change. If y'all put one poster up in the stadium to cover a crack on the wall, we will notice it. So we'll see what changes he does and what he can do around the city, and what's he going to do downtown in Edo, and will he expand out further, and we'll see, and what else that he brings to the team. But I'm for it 100%. Good move. Again, it's another move that Ted Siegel brings in somebody that knows the landscape, because landscape is what Ted Siegel knows. So keep doing a good job.
And soccer experience. Yeah, soccer experience is a thing that I've been asking for whenever they bring in leadership changes, and this is one of them. I mean, former Barcelona executive, of course, former Inter Miami executive. He's been on the know of MLS, so he better bring stuff to the table because the team desperately needs it, especially after a really bad year. And we'll see how they build out the team. Let's see if he's able to bring out the hype to bring in new fans in a year full of soccer across Houston, man. Is this prime real estate for opportunity? Like it's gonna be really hard for him to mess up this, because everything is in conditions to take advantage of this opportunity to bring fans to the stadium, man.
Right, everything's in his hands. We'll see. We'll be there watching.
Yep. And our last topic of this episode, OSG, we have a game this weekend.
Yeah.
We have a game this weekend, man. Our last game of 2025 for the Dynamo at Sporting Kansas City.
You know what? I'm going to admit, I won't get to watch it. I'll be busy covering the Houston Dash from the stadium. So I'll try to catch the end of the Houston Dynamo game when we come out of the stadium and run over to pitch to see if everybody's still hanging around. The official watch party for the Houston Dynamo is at pitch 25, so y'all go hang out there. Some Surges will be there, so y'all go check out some Surge members at the watch party. Man, but we're not going to get to watch it. Andres might have to pull the pad out and put it there, but you know what? Never mind. I'm watching my Dash anyways, and we're going to be busy working. So, yeah, sorry. I don't get to watch the last game of the season, and it's one of those where I always look to see if it's a good option to go to KC for that game, because it's so close and it's so cheap to just make that trip real quick.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's one of those Dynamo and Dash happen to play at the same freaking time, pretty much, where they overlap. So, not feasible, not doable. I'm watching my Dash, but man, I'm not even looking forward to the Dynamo game, to tell you the truth. It's granted we're on the road. It is KC, an old rival. I can see us winning. I can't predict us to win. So it's one of those, just like, man, we're playing the Kansas City Current on the Dash side of it. So it's a KC weekend doubleheader, and we're probably going to get our ass whooped. But the Dash will probably get their ass whooped by the by far best team in the NWSL. So, man, I hope the Dynamo can go out there and get a win in KC and save the weekend, and we can go 1-1 against Kansas City. You never know. The Dash may surprise us, too. They're fighting for their lives. There's that much life left. You can't see through, because there's really not that much life left. There's nothing. But, yeah. Is it? Oh, we're going to do the TikTok trend.
This is like this. The playoff chances are this close.
Yeah. It's just sweating in between his fingers right there. That they're holding on to, and that's it. So, man, KC, dude, I don't know, and that's a tough place to play, too, so I'm not expecting to win. I'm not expecting a good performance. What I am expecting is maybe Ben to use some players. It's the last game. You're out. It doesn't matter what you do,
Yeah.
really. Use the players that need minutes, want minutes, or somebody you need to look at real quick before you want to, if you're just on the cusp of giving that person their option or not. So I just want to see something different this game. Different attitude, too.
I like to see the attitude. I like to see the approach of this game, and I feel like this is the best opportunity you can have to give players a chance. This is a meaningless game. This is the game that the players that you want to see or looking into keeping into next year. I feel like this is the game now. You gotta use them. I don't care if we win or lose, as long as you try to experiment. If we're rolling out like the first team, the go-to team, obviously you gotta win that game. But then again, this is a meaningless game.
Yeah.
It could be used as an opportunity for people that actually need it. I hope that's the case. And
I don't play
like
Eric.
you said,
I start Damian Lowe. I even start Ortiz unless you know you're not going to keep him, just to give him one more game and see. But maybe you start Carlos and the other guy. But I don't know what to do here with this game. So it's up to Ben to at least try and do something. But get some guys an option. And if you see Escobar play, that's good news. If you see Escobar play,
yeah. We'll see. We'll see if he gets that opportunity. But again, this is a meaningless game. But you can turn something meaningless into something useful to start the off season. Because right after this game ends, it's gonna be off season. We'll be in off season mode, and there's gonna be plenty of decisions to make. A ton of maybe a ton of player turnover. But at the end of the day, it's more so about how you end the season and how you start your approach. So we'll see about this game, how it goes. I might watch the replay after this because, like you said, we're gonna be working at the Dash game, which is gonna be happening at the same time. And of course, with the media availability and all that, we might be able to catch the second half. I don't know how that's gonna go, but
not
we'll
for
see.
the last game. It's going to be an hour before the press conference even happens after the game. The players will be on the field
it's gonna be
forever after this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we will not see y'all at pitch 25 unless y'all are still there at 11 o'clock at night. But I'm hoping for a 2-2 draw. I mean, of course, I hope for a win. I'm hoping just for a 2-2 draw, just for reality's sakes, and I hope we don't lose 2-1. I think Kansas City's going to win the game, but because you don't know what the Dynamo are going to put out there. You don't know how you're going to play. You don't know nothing, right? No intangibles, no nothing.
Yeah.
So, just can we end on a positive is all I'm going to ask. End on a positive. So that means obviously a win. But I would like to see some players play that are in question for next season and maybe somebody that hasn't been playing. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Probably that draw that could be entertaining, but both teams don't have anything to play for other than that. Give opportunities to players going into next year. So
yeah, decision day leads to decisions that need to be made after decision day.
Yes, especially for teams that are not in playoffs. And yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So that was 21 players that we got to go through, and yeah, obviously y'all followed along on the chat and gave us y'all's opinions and agreed and not agreed. I think everybody kind of was on the same boat for the most part there. I like it, Andres, but man, like you said, there's a lot of work to do, and it's already going in the process. Season's over, so Asher and Pat are already working to how they want to do this roster, and I'm guaranteed when Ben gets back on Monday or Tuesday to the office that we'll hear something pretty quick in the coming week about a player or two or something or another. So things are going to start rolling. It is off season, but there will be news, man. There will be news. So that was 21 players, bro. That was a lot. I didn't think it was 21 players, man. When I asked you for the list and you said 21, I'm like, what the Jesus Christ? I knew it was like 21. Here we are again. Let's go, Pat.
I mean, 21 players, a lot of money in that payroll that could be potentially be freed up. A ton of decisions to be made. DP spot you have to fill. man, it could be a fun offseason.
One to follow. That's
Well,
for damn sure.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. But a lot of decisions, guys. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, we're not gonna have season awards for this year because they don't deserve it.
No.
And we're ready for the offseason to start. So, of course, we're still gonna have our next Noodle Time next week. Obviously, after the season ends, we're still gonna have to review the SKC game and whatever news that pop out. But after that episode, the schedule's gonna be a little bit flexible. Obviously, we're gonna be recording over the course of the off season. Whenever news come out, we're also gonna plan out, go through those news, and we're gonna give our thoughts as always. And whenever the options get revealed, depending on the timing of it, obviously we're gonna analyze the entire thing, and we're gonna give you our thoughts. And it's still gonna be a active off season, and the episode count our season is gonna be the off season. We might not be able to record every Thursday night, but obviously we're gonna announce it every single time through our social media channels at Dynamic Foxtrot and at Noodle Tiempo on X, also at Dynamic Foxtrot on Instagram and Blue Sky. As always, Foxtrot TV are the best place to watch our episodes live. It's gonna be right here on YouTube, and we do appreciate every single one that has been tuning in live, and of course everybody in the chat that has been engaging.
Jeff
Jordy,
Strong,
Giuseppe,
Jeff, Jordy,
Jeff,
yeah, everybody there.
Yeah, everybody. No, yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting the show. And make sure you leave a like and make sure you are subscribed so you can get all of our content, not just Noodle Time, but also Dash Dispatch, Instant Ramen, all the media availabilities from the Dynamo and Dash. And like we just mentioned, the Dash are playing their last home game of the season this weekend on Saturday. So make sure to get your tickets and make sure to watch the game and stick around for the team to say goodbye to the season.
So, Andres, Victor wants us to do the opposite awards.
Oh.
The worst attempt on goal that should have been a goal replaces the best goal. Team MVP is a team mud butt, So, Victor, that is a good idea, man. So, throwing ideas out there, but that's something that we could do, guys. That kind of shit the bird. Obviously, Victor would have to come on that show too and give his opinion on those players, and I know y'all would be excited to hear his opinion.
That's probably something we can do. Obviously, put in the script for the next episode and see how we can word it. But yeah, at the end of the day, this team doesn't deserve awards. They definitely deserve the criticism, especially not just the players, but the coaching staff and the front office. Just with the way the season ended, because we've been crapping on them all year long, and they definitely deserve the criticism. But
Anali had the best pressing play and scored that goal.
Yes. A season MVP, I guess. Anali.
No, the season reverse MVP. Reverse MVP, Ben Olsen.
Season
yeah.
Season reverse MVP? Yeah, probably Ben Olsen, I'd say.
Yeah,
but
that's where my vote goes. But yeah. Thank y'all. I mean, shit, where were we? 73 minutes in? And man, sorry guys. We took a while tonight.
No, yeah, guys, as always, we do appreciate your support. One more time, the Albert Feliz bobblehead giveaway is still going to happen at some point, and the password is going to be Rashid Olavigi. So stay tuned to the instructions coming up. This is going to be reserved for everybody that's been tuning into our episodes throughout the season, and it's going to be the secret giveaway. So stay tuned to the instructions. It's very important that you remember that the password is Rashid Olavigi, one of the Dynamo underdogs of all time. So make sure to stick around and stay tuned to our updates on Twitter.
I know where Andre.
Guys, one more time.
I'm gonna get that bobblehead, and it's just gonna be a note with the name left in the position.
I owe you.
It'll be the name, the password. It'll be the password.
Yeah.
I'll give you the purple replica jersey that needs to go with it. Then replacement.
Yes.
Don't be like, that's not my gift, but Yeah, H is up, y'all.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Of course, we got a big off season coming up and a ton of things to talk about. But as always, guys, thank you so much and stay noodle, y'all.